good.
Had a funny conversation.
We're live. Yo, what's up, everybody? Wes Smith Variety ShYo, episode 73, with the one and only Austin Speed. What's
up?
Dude, I'm so excited.
Yeah, glad to be here.
I've been talking about this episode for ever since you and I talked, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, real quick, couple little things coming in. Sponsor type stuff. Juice Recordings, go check it out. All my music, not all my music, but a lot of my music's on there. Close to 500 something songs with credits and stuff. So, yeah. Go
slow down.
Go check it out, dude. That's what happens when you do this long. But yeah, you can Juice Recordings. You can check all that out on Beatport, Spotify, whatever way it is you like to get stuff. My website, wessmith.com. You can check out all the things there. The little track that was playing on the intro, that Atomic Dog, George Clinton, little edit I did there. So you can grab that free off the site. It is up now. A few people asked me because I've used it a couple times. And usually when I put them on the intro, I give them away for free that day. But I kept slacking. So I got into holidays, shit like that. But yeah, check that out. Austin, speaking of you, what's the best place for them to find you?
SoundCloud.com/AustinSpeed, Facebook.com/AustinSpeedMusic, Instagram is AustinSpeedInsta, and Twitter is AustinSpeed.
Cool, man. And I'll post all those links and stuff to the page, the aggregate page for all this jazz when we're done.
Sweet, thank you.
So some treats today, man. We've got you can see a couple pieces of equipment in Austin's camera there. We're going to we've got a larger feed. We're going to show the whole thing as well after we chat a little bit about what it's like performing live and your history and all that. I've been fortunate to have some people with 25, 30 years in the business come in here, like San Diego and otherwise, and hang out, which is awesome, as well as people that are 2 years in it.
Right.
And really supporting and pushing the San Diego underground and music scene and all that. So, huge spectrum, of stuff here, and that's been awesome.
Well, I appreciate you having me on.
Dude, adding you to the mix, man. I mean, here we go. I've got a bunch of pictures. I told you I was going to grab some pictures, which I definitely did. You can kind of see them. Audience can't see them yet, but, I picked a variety there.
Yeah. The one with the mask, too. That was a broken beat. That was fun.
Some even of you, it looks like way back maybe DJing. Get into that a little bit. But kick it off with, I don't know, maybe what you're currently, all about.
All right.
Interested in. And then maybe take it back to whatever the old school is for you.
So, right now I've really been on this electro tip, breakbeat electro stuff. I gotta give it to Brandon Vasquez for kind of lighting that torch.
All right.
I've been into electro for a long time. I had been into it. I have quite a few electro vinyls. So never really found a crowd for it or anything. It was always just something I kind of liked.
Okay.
And hadn't heard anything in a while. And then, Brandon and I worked together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Which Brandon?
Brandon Vasquez.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So he played me this Ben Milstein mix from the Moon Tribe 20-year anniversary, and I was just like, holy shit. Not only is this stuff still around, it's better than it ever has been. So I went down the rabbit hole with that stuff for a while.
And that's starting how long ago? Getting into that?
Maybe a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay, so pretty recent.
Pretty recent.
Into the electro part of it.
Yeah.
And how long you been? I'm gonna, I know you produce music, which goes into recorded format and traditional distribution kind of stuff, but then the live thing to me is a whole different, piece.
Yeah.
Right. It may be some of that improvised. I don't know. That's what we'll get into that. But how long have you been doing the live show stuff?
What year is it?
4 years ago.
No. So what year is it now? No,
oh shit! I was like, come on, man, it's longer than 4 years.
No, it's been. I started playing live before I started DJing.
Right.
I've kind of been collecting electronic instruments and playing live in various formats since 98.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who? That you just took it to the old school for me right there. I didn't even have to work at it. So, who at that time? Who influenced you then?
The first ones were probably Orbital.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. My background is metal, which I still love.
Yeah.
But that's a separate thing. But kind of in junior high, got into Well, I had a friend that was, he now goes by Kid 606, is like a breakcore IDM producer.
Okay.
But yeah, we were like trading CDs, and he would give me like industrial CDs, and I was like, okay, how do you make those sounds? Like, yeah, I get guitar, drums, bass.
Okay.
But what is that? You know.
Yeah.
So I just kind of started exploring electronic music a lot more. Yeah, Orbital.
But in kind of the, let's call it all EDM, but whatever that is, like, you know, electronic dance music, you know, Orbital was kind of one of the first that, from a live performance perspective, that caught your eye.
Yeah, and Orbital was, the Brown album was the first dance album I ever bought.
Okay.
Yeah, one Halcyon and on and on. And
yeah. Man, what are some other so that's late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, it's like mid '90s, I think.
Yeah. What are some other electronic act? Well, before we went live, I was talking about the Crystal Method. They used to do all live shows. Yeah. Before the kind of DJ EDM thing found its way to the main stage, I guess.
Yeah, I actually saw them together, Orbital and Crystal Method, at the Del Mar Fairgrounds of all places. So yeah, I mean,
because Crystal Method is they've got a lot of you know, it's just Scott now, but they've got a lot of rock influence for sure.
Yeah,
they definitely, like, at least Scott, and a lot of the posts you see him make. You know, he toured with Tool some.
Oh, did he?
Like that.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he did like a short, like maybe last year or the year before, did like a short like tour with Tool.
Oh,
you know,
you know,
couple dates, maybe 5.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I went up to that show up in San Bernardino.
I
think I got there like right when Crystal Method was ending. So.
Okay.
But,
yeah. And that was just when I think he was kind of Ken had retired, and so Scott was carrying on, and that was like when he first was starting to do his live thing, as you know, basically as a solo live.
Okay.
Crystal Method. So part DJ, part live. You know, I guess it changes a little bit when you only have one of the two.
Right.
How much you can actually do, right? So those cats. What else were the man back at that same time? What do we have historically? Like, were Dust Brothers?
Dust Brothers.
Then Chemical Brothers.
Chemical Brothers. Totally.
They were live, doing a lot of live.
Yeah.
Moby did live, right?
Moby?
Yeah.
I think he did at one point. I was never like a big Moby fan.
Right.
I don't know. Just never really caught on to him too much. But say one of my biggest influences electronic wise is Autechre.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw one of their videos when I was like 16. I was just like, well, that's new.
Yeah.
This is something different, you know. And then picked up their album, and just like, that's one of my Desert Island discs for sure. Tri Repete Plus Plus. It's a double disc, and it just like, it's very meditative, you know. If you put it on like right before you're going to sleep, like, you know, right when you're in that dream state, it takes you to some amazing places. So.
Interesting. In listening to your, and by the way, anybody watching or listening later, you know, Austin and I have known each other for a while, seen each other in and out of the San Diego scene, but Bloom, New Year's Eve, we played the same room. It was basically me, then Simply Jeff, then Austin.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite a stack. The whole room was stacked all night. You know, I don't know the girl's name who played before me.
I think that was Ashley, Miss Brisk.
Ashley, Miss Brisk. Yeah. She did a great job.
Yeah.
Basically played for a little bit, but she ended up playing longer. Something happened with the scheduling of the sets.
Yeah.
But anyway, she played for a long time, and that's always I'm always interested when people, like, you know, plan to play an hour and end up playing like 2.5.
Right.
It's always kind of cool, like, to just see where they go, right? Because you clearly have to just start like improvising.
Exactly.
Whether you wanted to or not, now it's time, right? to get creative. But yeah, Bloom was awesome, man.
It was really, really well done.
Yeah.
Awesome party. I've been to that venue a couple times. That was by far my favorite.
Was that your first time playing live at the venue?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I played live at actually the first party they did there. Love and Bass.
All right. Yeah, that was sweet. And your style there, to me, I when you're saying electro, I assume a lot of what you were playing, to me, that sounded electro.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're talking along those lines.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and it felt like probably like, I don't know what the range was, like BPM wise. What were you at? Like
I usually stick about 131.
A little faster. Okay.
Yeah, a little faster.
Yeah. It's funny, when I went to Spain once, dude, and they listened to all their breaks at like 138.
Oh wow,
it's crazy. Yeah.
You know, in the desert that really works too.
Yeah.
You know, just keeping people going that have been up all night.
It's interesting. When I showed up there, the promoter was funny. He's like, "You can do whatever you want." He's like, "I'm just gonna let you know, most people don't realize that, like, everybody here is used to like dancing to like 138 to 140.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, then I'll just pitch everything up.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I did. And it still sounds fine. It's cool. Thankfully, we have great equipment these days that can do all the adjustments on the fly and stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're pitching up, obviously your root note is going to go up. So bass might not hit the same way, but it's a slight difference.
It does tweak it out a little bit, whatever the algorithms and things are that are in the CDJs.
Yeah.
But if you lock that key, it does a pretty good job at keeping the pitch.
Not a lot of aliasing.
Not like vinyl. Nah, it's not near as like drifty as that. I mean, it's not like it doesn't turn into Mickey Mouse. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like you get some artifacts and stuff, but nothing too crazy. Let's I think that picture. Wait a minute. I'm gonna put this. These aren't live yet, but I'm gonna pick this one. I think.
That's a good one, actually. Let's talk about that one.
Let's do this one. Let me put that guy up there in front of our mugs and chat about that a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, dude. Let's overlay that one.
Okay.
Break it down.
So, that was at the World Beat Center. That was Acid Varsity and Deep End show where they brought DJ Pierre out.
Okay.
Anybody who doesn't know who DJ Pierre is, he's was part of Future with a PH.
Okay.
Original Acid House from the 80s. A few classic tracks, but so I played right before Pierre, and normally when I'm transitioning, I'll just kind of do like an ambient fade out or something and just let them go. I start doing that, and Pierre's like, no, just taps me on the shoulder. He's like, keep playing. We end up jamming for like 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So him DJing.
Him DJing, me playing live. And we just end up jamming for like 10 minutes. And
that's fun.
Totally unexpected. Really awesome. Yeah, that was a good one.
Cool, man. So this was okay. What year was that?
That was like in June. Last year. Yeah.
All right, cool. The let's see. Let's grab another one here. That's we'll hit a couple to show some of your chops.
Yeah.
Let's do this one. This is Broken Beat. Yeah.
That is Broken Beat.
Let's throw that guy up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give the rundown on that kind of thing.
So that's pretty much my full live rig. I do have a Korg monopoly to my right in this, which you can't see. Korg monopoly is it's a mono/poly synth from 1983. One of the first analog synths I ever saw when I was in a secondhand store, and I was like, "What is that thing?"
Nice.
Eventually, this last year, I was like, I'm just going to get it now, because if I don't get it now, it's just going to keep going up.
Is that you had that at Bloom, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a staple for me now.
Yeah, I had a picture of it, and I think I lost it here. But I'll find that while you're talking about this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the...
I'm going to switch over to find that photo while you're talking.
Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty much my main setup. It's... I'm very electron based, so there's Octatrack, Analog Rhythm, Mono Machine. Just got an Analog 4 not too long ago, which is cool. I use it half for sounds and half for... a lot of the vintage synthesizers don't have MIDI, so you have to send control voltage to it, which is kind of rudimentary. It just sends its voltage up and down and a gate that tells it when to hit a note.
Yep.
So yeah, it works really well for that.
And real quick on the control voltage thing, for people that don't, a lot of people that listen to this pop in and out, probably go to shows, probably aren't producers, more like fans,
sometimes I have to step back
fans of music and stuff. But I think maybe an important fundamental, we obviously make music different ways, but an important fundamental, I think, of that electronic voltage control, the voltage control is like, it lends itself to a lot of fluctuation and unknown.
Yes.
In what comes out, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, that's something that I think if someone has any experience maybe producing strictly in the Ableton box, for example, you don't really have any chance of like, Spire synth isn't going to send out some different noise this time when you play the MIDI, track back over. It's always pretty much identical.
And that's what's great about the vintage and analog stuff is like the monopoly has no presets, so whatever I'm doing on it, I have to like figure it out right then and there, and just kind of roll with it. And
I think that's it in the back of this, isn't it?
That is, yeah.
Yeah, let me throw that up there real quick. In the very back, you can kind of see what looks like a controller or just keyboard, probably to a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of knobs on it.
Yeah, but so, like I said, that it's from 1983. It's probably 40-something pounds, and wood paneling, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like that. There's a Sub 37 sitting under that. Cover. So not quite as old, but I think that thing was designed probably in the 80s.
The Sub 37?
It might have been.
No, it's new.
Newer.
Yeah, Sub 37 is a couple years old.
Maybe there was. I think maybe it was like a Mini Moog or something that looks like it. A lot of their stuff looks the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that was like from the 80s, and then this was like modeled after it to kind of look like it. Yeah. So not as old. I didn't think it was as old because it's got USB and digital inputs and shit like that.
Yeah, it's modern. It has a pretty nice interface too. I mean,
I
recall
like
presets and all that. So
yeah, cool. Anything else in this picture that's up here that is kind of I don't know, sensible to describe or?
Yeah. So if you notice, there is no mixer there. Everything is routed into other devices, which then eventually lead to the Octatrack, which kind of
move that photo off so they can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
So the Octatrack here.
Here, I'll switch that. Let me switch this camera over there.
Okay.
Right, so we can really. We set up another angle, folks, so we could see this a little better. There we go.
So the Octatrack is an 8-channel sampler sequencer. It also has 2 sets of stereo inputs. And anything that you do, like say if I was to sequence another synth with it, run the audio from the synth back into this, process it in real time, and it's rock solid. Like no latency, never had a dropout or
until
hang up
today.
With it. Yeah.
Fortunately, folks, we're running it through like one Yamaha HS8.
Yeah. But it's cool. So it's got this crossfader on it, which is totally assignable to whatever you want. So you can run, just for instance, like the master channel high pass filter will turn up when you do this, and also like one of the channels you can turn the pitch down, and then another channel you can have like big crush go up, like all at the same time. So it's real dynamic.
Love it.
Yeah, it's.
Do you want to make some noise with some of this? And because it might make sense. Like I told you, it's the first time we did anything kind of live like this in here. Yeah. Other than talking, so let's give it a shot though. Maybe like I don't know, do whatever some stuff you want to give some examples of, and then we could talk about it a little or whatever. Just play it by ear.
Sure. So
you rock.
I usually keep like my kicks, snares, and just a couple other like random noises on the Octatrack. So it's not going to be like a full, full track or anything like that. But just gonna
folks, go to a live show.
Yeah, you only get a taste here. So. Throw some mono machine on this. Jamming, like. Yeah. I think I got a vocal on this one here. Oh yeah. Do some stuttering.
Yeah. this octatrack is you're sequencing with that plus it's sampling in there, or what's going on?
The samples are already in there.
Yeah.
You can do like real time.
Were the samples part of that device, or you can load them?
You load them. It's all stuff that I put in there.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So I mean that's super basic, just a couple devices, but
Yeah, that's the jam. But like I was talking, before we got going live, like I think one of the to me, and we'll do a little bit more, for sure if you want. But to me, like the some of those early names we were talking about performing live, like, I really want to support and go see, but live people doing this kind of stuff about as live as you can get with electronic music, right? Like, I mean, you're a one person or maybe two person in many cases, and it's sequenced, and it's hopefully the gear is the timing is synced and whatever, right? And everything sounds tight, but there's still a lot that goes on, even though it's all synced up.
Yeah, I make mistakes. I shouldn't say that. No, actually, that's really a lot of the fun of it when you're playing live. Is like you kind of like make a mistake and like, all right, I'm gonna roll with this because most people aren't really gonna know unless there's like something that just came in way too loud or something. But like, yeah, you're like, oh, I played the wrong pattern on this, but it doesn't sound bad. So,
But by loading, I assume by loading your samples, creating and loading your samples, you control some of those issues with like volume and stuff.
Sure. By
making sure they're normalized and you've got good quality samples, right?
Yeah, I try to go through all my... I basically have in my live set like 40-something tracks I can go through.
Oh, wow.
And some of them I might play for a minute, some I might play for 4 minutes. It just varies. But I go through and, I'll try to level everything out so that there aren't like huge jumps in volume or anything like that.
What's if you don't mind, kind of walk through like what's the workflow for you to create another track to add to your group of live tracks you might pull from?
Sometimes it'll start with a sample, or I'll start messing around on a synth and just kind of find something I like. Drums are really important to me. So the compressor on the Octatrack is amazing. I can't really get the same sort of punch out of software or anything, but so kicks and snares on the Octatrack, and then I usually do like some kind of sub bass line on the Octatrack as well.
Okay.
And I can sort of mimic like a sidechain compression.
Okay.
Where I just do like a volume dip, or not a dip, but a volume envelope.
Yeah.
That comes up whenever I'm hitting a kick, so that there's not a lot of not a lot of frequency interference.
So it comes through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. So you end up with like a track that I'll make will end up ultimately with probably I'd say 10 to 12 like core tracks, vocal, sub bass, bass line, maybe 4 or 5 among the percussion and drums, and then it'll probably have another 10 that are all kinds of fills and little dynamic things. So maybe ends up at 25 or so by the time it's all said and done. Maybe 30, but if it's crazy. But how does that end up? Is that kind of mirror in your live? Do you end up with that many tracks, or what?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I didn't bring, it's called an analog rhythm. It's also by Electron.
Okay.
That's what I use for like my hi-hats, rides, percussion, stuff like that. Like we can just call it all one channel, I guess. It's just, but Octatrack, so kicks, snares, bass. Background elements, vocals, mono machine I use for just weird stuff. Like it does like really weird FM sounds, and it has like a vocal synth.
Okay.
Where it kind of sounds like it's talking.
Yeah, I think I heard some of that at the.
Let's see. Stuff like this.
Yeah, dude. Let me throw that up there.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. But yeah, but so what? Let's see. So you've been doing it for a long time. You did this before you DJ'd. You did this before, all that and that interest. What would you say, like? I don't know, anything particular about your live setup that you would want to highlight or talk about? Like, it doesn't matter to me how deep you go.
Yeah,
I'll be happy to listen.
Sure. I have a really nice 303 clone. Okay. There's like that's just like classic acid house. Well, in this case, acid break sound. But it's by a company called Cyclone. It's a TT303.
Okay.
And it's fully analog.
Oh, really?
I mean, the sequencer is a little fiddly, but it sounds great. It sounds great. It sounds just like any 303.
Is the original? I was just gonna confirm. Is the original 303 acid sound? Is that the original kind of acid house acid sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Roland TB 303.
Yeah, that preset was, I guess it started as a preset. I assume.
Well, it was It was a little silver box that was meant to accompany bands. Meant to be to be a bass player for.
I've never actually seen one in the flesh.
Oh yeah,
no.
Tyler
only
from
pictures.
Tyler from Acid Varsity has one. He's got an original one, which they go for stupid amounts of money now. They're like over $2,000, which is ridiculous.
Like so do the 808s, right? And
808s are
That's crazy.
So it started out as. It was meant to fill in for a bass player for a band, but it doesn't sound like a bass player at all.
Okay.
It sounds
no, it
very robotic.
It's kind of like it went wrong.
Yeah.
I think both the 303 and the 808 kind of did go wrong initially, right? Like they didn't really get snatched up by the market they were meant for, right?
Not really.
Just went off to the wayside, right?
Yeah, and Phil Collins is all about the 808.
Okay.
Yeah, but
and then hip hop found the 808.
Yeah.
And that made it famous.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah. Like 20 years after the inventor of it moved on to other synths.
Right.
And things was like, oh wow, look at that. People are using that thing.
Yeah, but people are starting to recreate. Roland even put out a little they call it the TR, I think it's the TR08, and it looks like a little mini 808.
I saw it last year, right? But they even came out with didn't Roland finally? They even came out with some official soft synths that recreate some of the sounds, right? Yeah, I guess as best as possible.
Yeah, there's the Roland Cloud, which it's like a subscription based service, and you just get whatever synth you want from them. Yeah,
what's your any opinions on kind of the recreation of those sounds? I mean, are they equal? Are they better? You think?
I mean,
what's better?
I don't think they're really the same, but in a mix, once everything's been processed and is sitting nicely in a mix, I don't think you're gonna notice much of a difference anyway.
Probably most people can't, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like the earbud war.
Yeah, and then you get the ones that can. They're just like the chin strokers, which
the 3 people that came in on guest list.
Right.
Better talk about that. That's funny. Yeah, well, that's a good point though. They're probably just. It's not really a matter of better or worse. It's just a sound, and does it work? Yeah. Right. And my most of the soft synths I've heard that recreate other instruments, a Hammond or whatever, are all kind of. They just sound cleaner to me, a little bit more clinical.
Clinical's a good way to put it.
They're a little more on the grid. They clearly don't have if you sit down and listen to an erratic analog synth, in its subtleties, there's just something different about it.
Yeah, temperature affects them.
Yeah,
they go out of tune and they just drift a little bit, and they do these weird little things they're not quite supposed to do, but that's kind of where the magic lies. Yeah, and maybe you can describe this better than me, but I'll kind of open the box. So for somebody who, back to kind of when we were talking voltage control, but for somebody who just never thought about synthesizers at all, and basically all electronic dance music is essentially coming from, the overall word synth in some way or another for the most part. Yeah. Some kind of waveform creation, right? So everything kind of starts with this wave and then gets turned into. I don't know if you want to describe that, right? You can do it sawtooth or square or, sine and start triangle. To get these different sounds. And then, of course, apply all sorts of other parameters to get basically any sound. Yeah.
Kick, snare, whatever, even things that sound like voices to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of whatever the sound designer their knowledge can create. Right?
Yeah.
And emulate in the natural world effectively.
Yeah, I think that was the original intent of synthesizers, was to, make it so they could just make whatever sound without having to go and record it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, this does all kinds of other stuff that we've never heard. So
well, and we're going, and for people listening or watching, we're when we're talking pure analog, this is a time where there really wasn't a good way to record anything.
Yeah.
No SoundCloud, no nothing, right? So you kind of had to like,
you're
that may surprise a lot of people. There was a time in electronic dance music even that you couldn't load up a hard drive of samples and then take whatever sound you wanted with you. Like you had to have a piece of gear, and in many cases, even the earlier on you were, right, you had to have had made patches or possibly have to recreate them on the fly.
Yeah.
To make them, there's no ROM or RAM to store it in.
Yeah, so people have like, these crazy patch sheets and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, now you could just like take a picture with your phone and you're like, all right, this is how I got this. But no, people used to have like templates and they would just draw on them. And
yeah, so have you ever done, well, I had, not this, but I've got where's it at? I've got a Mother 32 sitting around here somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's kind of like quasi, Euro rack type stuff, single voice.
Yeah.
But anyway, you basically, I used it for a couple songs, and I didn't know anything about that stuff when I bought it, and I used it for a couple bass lines. And dude, I had to make a template to put over the top and mark, have like the PDFs that I was marking like exactly what I had done on everything. Because there's no way to export the sound. I mean, you could record the sound, but of course you can't modify that later.
Yeah.
So if you want to go back to a patch that you've created, and I want to kind of point this out in today's episode, so maybe people get a little bit better sense of what's going on in a live performance or what's possible in a live performance, right? And the work that may go into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, do you create any, like, for example, at Bloom, current day, are you creating any patches completely from scratch, like starting at, the init waveform and then molding that into something that you're going to use?
Yeah, on the monopoly I am.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that thing, like it's real. I mean, we
kind of need a whiteboard to do this, but
yeah,
yeah.
So it's like a 4-octave keyboard or something like that. But the actual like sound modulation part is probably 3 feet by 2 feet or something like that, and the knobs are real spread apart, and it's just really easy to just get your hands around it, and you don't feel like you're like twiddling like these little knobs or anything. It's it feels really nice to play. So
yeah, cool.
I hardly ever feel like oh, should I hit the wrong thing or something. So.
Yeah, but do you so you don't have anything left these days that you're actually having to look at your patch sheet and like,
I do,
or it's in your mind, I guess, if you're live.
Yeah. I mean, these things are whatever I put in them is stored.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I don't really have to worry about that so much. And,
cool. Historically, maybe, and maybe you have some history with this. Like, I'm just kind of walking through, with your knowledge, sitting here, kind of walking through from like basically super analog synth days, the beginning, which we kind of hit. Mm-hmm. The Korgs, the Moogs, those guys way back there. If people want to go and dig into stuff, there were a few comments. I switched over to like some of the comments while you were talking and playing, and few comments about people being interested in piquing interest in this and how to like go find more. I don't know. It may or may not surprise you, but like a lot of people just produce in Ableton.
Yeah.
Pure sample packs and actually don't know that any of this stuff is generated from a waveform.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I certainly make a lot of my music that way now because it is faster. Like essentially, if I find a sound that I like, it's like I don't need to go recreate that necessarily. Right. Or, and you can modify a lot of stuff, of course, if you find a preset nowadays anyway, if it's all in the box. But going from pure analog, kind of what's the next step for somebody in your mind, like to go, like, if they're going to go look for some devices and try to get into doing some live tweaking, what would you,
There's a lot of stuff out there, and actually the barrier to entry is a lot lower than it used to be. Like Korg makes these little Volca devices, and they have like a Volca FM synth, Volca bass, keys, drums, and they're like $150 each or something like that. And
Okay.
they just do the basics, and you can sync them up to each other.
And does that end up giving you essentially are they kind of modular where you can effectively end up with one that's specialty towards keys, one that's specialty towards percussion, bass, whatever?
Yeah, they all have their individual things they do. There's that. There's
and so with that, you would end up with at least needing some kind of probably multi-channel mixing board to patch at least each of them into in mono to at least hear them all come back out.
I think they just made a Vulcan mixer too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
and it's probably digital, right? And syncs up with it all?
No, it's analog.
Oh, it's all analog shit.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, those are kind of the synth nerds will look down on it a bit. Whatever. If you're having fun with it, it's actually a good way to learn.
But even a Sub 37, which is like you said, digital, it's but modeled after analog, and it's still those things are a few grand. You can't.
Yeah. No, that's analog.
Yeah, but but it's got digital. It's got digital conversion in it, and the USB. You can send patches back and forth. You can save stuff in that sense.
Yeah, but the actual audio output is all analog.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Yeah. It's just I think all the noise generators in it were the wave generators were all modeled after some of the older stuff.
Yeah, I assume they're just the basic waveforms, pretty much.
It's kind of like that guitar, which people can't see. It's because
it's a Les Paul.
People come in and be like, "Hey, that's a Les Paul." I'm like, yeah, but it's like a new, it's like the new version. It's like it's like the tribute Les Paul. Yes, it's a Les Paul, but it's not like the $10,000 original one, I guess, whatever you would call the original. But it does make really cool sounds. It's got a broken string, but it does make really cool sounds. Yeah, for a while I was running that thing through a couple pedals and just playing around with it, trying to understand pedals and stuff like that. But yeah, it's cool.
Think of pedals as plugins.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually run that Moog through them before.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And there's a couple the Mooger Fooger type devices sitting up top. Yeah. Those are cool. I'll pull one down. Yeah, I'll pull one down just to throw it up there. These are kind of interesting in a way. Right? Like these. I don't know if you've messed with one of these guys before, but
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the filter.
So this thing's really cool because it looks like this obviously looks like an EQ, but it really isn't. It's like a frequency-based filter, that looks like an EQ, multi-band basically filter.
Okay.
And you can really go to town on that thing, and you can set patterns to the filter and.
Oh wow!
Pretty wild.
I've always been curious about that one, but I've never actually played it.
Yeah, you can get pretty wild to it. I mean, basically, it doesn't generate any sound. You have to run things through it, right?
Sure.
So but
it's an effect. It's,
but that's for anybody who's working in Ableton or Logic or whatever, and is using a plugin, any kind of whatever, even the native Ableton effects, and you go in there and grab a filter rack and stick it in the device chain and start messing with it. That's basically the physical version of that. This is. Yeah, and so it's really cool to play with that stuff by hand, and I think you actually learn a lot too. You don't have to necessarily have this type or this manufacturer, but you definitely learn a lot by messing with it with your fingers.
Yeah,
and versus the mouse, and really kind of being focused on this one piece, for a day or for a little session in your studio.
Yeah,
versus being inundated with 400 plugins and
there's something about
600 knobs.
Getting both your hands on it too. Just a tactile feel that you don't really get with software, unless you could set up a controller to do whatever you want, but
yeah, I think I was talking to you this is just a small version of it, but this is the mini APC but with the keyboard, but that section is I don't know if you've ever had an APC the full one. It basically is looks like this and doesn't have the keyboard, and it's just a bunch of sliders, and so that thing can map to the clip launcher in the session view in Ableton.
Yeah.
Do you use Ableton at all?
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say, but when I actually make tracks, when I finish tracks, that's all Ableton.
Yeah. Okay.
So I record stuff into it and then do all my sequences.
I don't know if you're a Logic guy or Cubase or.
I like Logic, but I'm still getting my head around it.
Oh, okay. I used to be. I'm all Ableton nowadays. But basically, imagine a little bit bigger version, and then it's just this section basically with mixer faders.
Yeah.
And these all just map to clips and scenes on that session view. And so when I was telling you, I had a little stint of live, for about 6 months, that's what I was doing essentially, is clip launching in Ableton.
Yeah.
And you still have to splice everything apart. It's a lot of work because like the 10 or 20 tracks we were talking about in a particular song. I mean, you basically have to go through there and dice up, in a usable format, a bar, 2 bars, whatever, loops, and then use those in the clip launching. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a lot of busy work that didn't really feel like making music to me, versus what you're doing here.
Another reason why I got into this, but
yeah,
I mean, one of the biggest reasons when I started playing live again that I went the Electron route. I started trying to do it with Ableton.
Okay.
And I was just struggling with it. Just things would just be off. Trying to play like other instruments with Ableton, there was always like latency issues.
Yeah.
I go and like set everything up. Be like, okay, it's good to go. I'm gonna walk away for an hour. I come back and it's off again. It's just like it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Well, I don't know if you heard it, but I didn't play it at Bloom either. But I put out a free track. I did this. I basically got the MIDI files for Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah.
And ran them through the Sub 37.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I just used because the Sub 37 has some really classic patches on it, so I just tweaked them a little bit and ran them through not that Mooger Fooger, but one of the other ones. I have this thing called a decimator. It's like that white thing sitting over there.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a bunch of knobs and it just smashes everything in different weird ways. So I basically just ran it through that and it applies some cool like effects, so it doesn't sound like you just used the preset off of whatever you used.
Right.
Anyway, so I just simplified like the MIDI score for Frosty the Snowman because it's like the legit one for like a concert or I don't know, some sort of orchestra. So I just kind of reduced it all to the basics and you get this cool line out of it. But it was funny because when you were talking about this sync issue, like I was originally trying to basically play it. The idea way back when I did it the first time, a couple years back, was during that time I was using the MPC or APC, and I was trying to sync that thing up with the rest of the, pure digital stuff, the percussion and whatnot in Ableton.
Yeah, and you're just like, it's just off.
Could never get it to work.
Yeah, it's just off.
So like finally I just, I finally just let the Frosty the Snowman hook run through the Sub 37 for like 20 minutes. And recorded it all in Ableton, and then I just went back and like pieced out the parts that sounded the best, that I didn't have to do so much warping and all that shit. So yeah. But sound was amazing. It just wasn't cooperating with trying to do it live.
Totally.
So there was no way that was going to happen. So that's really cool. Neat, man. What so what do you like? A lot of years you've been doing this live. What's kind of like is there an end game for a guy doing live stuff, or you've done some cool shows?
Yeah.
What do you kind of think about in terms of where to go?
I'd like to start, and this is one of the challenges, but I kind of have to bring everything in my car. Flying with this is going to be difficult. Yeah. If I really worked out, I could probably scale it down to 3 boxes this size.
Like that?
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be as fun of a live show, but I don't know. I'm kind of thinking of like putting a little tour together, maybe this summer or something, going up to like Northwest, maybe coming back down through New
something
Mexico.
You could drive?
That. Yeah, something
maybe?
I could drive. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So yeah, that's thinking about that right now. About to start working on an EP actually. I got I'm gonna take a few of the tracks in my live set and just flesh those out. And I've been talking to some people like sending them a set. And they're like, okay, just give me time markers of the tracks you like. And
yeah. And you think it'll be electro type stuff?
Oh yeah.
Kind of like what you're into right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll be interested in hearing that.
Nice.
Maybe I can, I can do something with one of them. Like I don't know if you get some people to do some. It's your show, but like maybe you get some San Diego people or whatever. A lot of people that do some remixes of whatever the originals are.
Oh yeah,
maybe add a cool like flair to it.
No, I'd love to do that.
Yeah,
totally.
That kind of thing. I would definitely be down to entertain that. So
okay,
yeah, we'll talk about that more
for sure.
Totally cool. What so yeah, I mean you could do like a driving thing probably, right? You'd have to get the full show and go do it. One of the things when we're talking about like live versus DJ and going back to like the comment I made before we went live, like the DJ kind of replacing the live show to a degree, and I think that's somewhat true. But why do you any opinions on why you think that might be? Like
so much easier.
Just easier.
I mean, that's
probably
why
costs less.
Yeah,
to have the person come.
Especially these days too. You just show up with a flash drive. You're good to go. Like,
oh yeah,
it's so easy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I started DJing too. I was like, well, instead of having to tear down my studio, set everything up, then my studio's in shambles for like a couple days until I decide to put it back together. It's like, or I could just bring some records.
Yeah,
that's way easier.
Yeah, like if someone asked me to, I mean, I agree. If someone asked me to, like, hey, dude, you want to play a vinyl set? I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Where? No, not really. I don't have a record box. Actually, I got rid of all my vinyl too. So
I'm about to do that.
It's done.
Yeah, I'm about to do that. Moving houses right now, and I don't want to move them.
That's a tough decision.
And I don't have room for them either. So it's like they got to go. They've been sitting around there for a couple of years, and just I haven't listened to them. So I'd rather give them to somebody that's going to enjoy them.
How long's it been since you've played a vinyl set?
A vinyl set,
or even at your house studio?
No, in my house I listen to some vinyl.
Yeah.
And I mean I pick up like some non-electronic vinyl too. So, but a vinyl set, like 4 years ago.
Well, I had this picture, this sweet picture of the SD Union. Is that you?
That is me. That is me. Who's I opening for? I think it's opening for like Gridlock or somebody. That was at the Marrow.
And Schoolie in the back there.
Oh,
isn't that him to the
yeah.
left or right? Yeah. He's a trip, man.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He was at Love and Bass. I was hanging out with a couple friends that like they're not really like in the scene or anything.
Yeah.
And Patrick comes up and he's just being Patrick.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know who that guy is, but he's awesome. Like,
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
You had a good crowd in there hanging out, man. There were a couple people stuck to you like glue doing video. I don't know if they were, friends of yours or what they were, but it was awesome, man. I mean, it's just cool, man. You're doing your thing. And what's up with what's the story behind the sort of stage presence persona? I mean, it's cool. It goes with it. I like it.
It's sort of just naturally kind of developed. I don't know.
Okay.
So I did like the Broken Beat Halloween.
Let me see if I can find it while you're talking.
See if you can find the Broken Beat Halloween with a mask.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
But no mask.
Yeah.
That's like minus the mask.
Right. No, there we go.
And then that's the mask.
That's the
there
mask.
You go. Let's get the good one up there.
So, yeah, I just found this creepy, like, it's not quite like vaudeville. I don't know what you would call it. I don't know, just this like creepy mask, and I put some of those like finger lights and just taped those to the inside so the eyes lit up.
Right.
And but yeah, that was Halloween. Everything else,
the mask doesn't get in the way.
I'm not going to say it didn't.
Let's talk about masks.
I'm not going to say it didn't.
This would be great.
But that was the only time I played with it.
All right.
Everything else, I mean, like I said, like my background's metal. I still go to a lot of metal shows. I listen to a lot of metal, and I don't know.
First time when I saw you, when I saw you at Bloom with that stuff, with just your persona, it's pretty cool. And have you seen or heard this guy Darksiders? Familiar with him at all?
Sounds familiar, but no.
EDM kind of dubstep-ish producer guy.
Okay.
But he it just reminded me of it a little bit. He's very into the goth. Like it certainly looks like he might have come from that era.
Okay.
Good, cool vibe. The black vibe.
Yeah.
That's in there. Do you any other parts of the persona? Black nails. Anything else?
No,
crazy going on.
I'm wearing a Morbid Angel shirt. But,
Oh, that's funny, man. Yeah, that's good stuff. What? So you don't have a lot of like masks and stuff.
No, that was. I don't know if I'm going to do that again.
By the way, what do you think? That's what I was gonna get your opinion on. How, there's like bear heads out there. There's marshmallow heads.
Yeah.
There's
mouse heads. Obviously.
There's mouse heads. Obviously, I think that might have been maybe Daft Punk was the first heads. Any idea?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Orbital had those little like headlamp things.
Oh yeah,
but those are more functional.
And Moby too. He had it was like glasses with flashlights on the side.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
They were like $10 from Walgreens.
I think those are more for those were actually more practical because they were trying to see their stuff on stage. But
yeah, and they just ended up looking cool because it was always dark.
Yeah.
And creepy.
Yeah.
The dark warehouses they were playing in.
But yeah,
It's
no,
totally true.
my opinion on that stuff, if people like it, like, cool, you know, and it does kind of create a good show. Sometimes, like, I'm not a Dead Mouse fan, but
yeah, there's these couple.
persona.
Yeah, but whatever. If someone's into it, who gives a shit, right? Like, it's just fun, man. You pay for a ticket. It's entertaining, right?
Yeah, totally.
That party I was telling you about in Spain, man. They had this basically like this Optimus Prime character. It was like a person on stilts in a big costume. Came out on stage with all this like liquid. I don't know what it was. Liquid something, maybe dry ice or hydrogen, whatever it was. They were in a fan blowing it, so it just looked crazy behind you and in front of you. They would walk around behind you and walk around in front of you. There were two of them. And they're just like, yeah, it was just wild, man.
On like stilts and everything too.
Yeah, they were like
cool.
25, 20, felt like 20, at least twice, my height plus, and big full on outfit. Like you couldn't see the person. It was just like, but it was obviously a person on stilts inside the costume.
Yeah.
And then they had the hands were like shooting out this, what was like dry ice, whatever, fog over the crowd at velocity though. It wasn't like petering out at the end of the gun. It was like, yeah, made a lot of noise. It was like, all right, that's as close as I've ever come to having like a legit performance on the stage that had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty. that was pretty funny right there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. What's your How long have you been in San Diego? Doing music?
I'm a native.
Ah,
so.
you're native.
Yeah.
Let me think if we've had any other native San Diegans on. Cole Vassallo. He's a bit younger. You know him from United by Bass? His DJ name is Cole Vassallo. Colin, long hair. If you've been to some
not
of
off
the
the
events,
top
you
of my
might have
head.
seen him. I think he came in working with SD Union maybe just before kind of United by Bass started really being United by Bass.
Okay.
And then that time frame. So a few years, at least I know. He helped me out for a couple years running a lot of the back office stuff with the Juice, with the label.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Great guy. Yeah, he's like early 20s. Just got out of college. I think
Oh,
he
yeah,
graduated like last year.
So he's all about it.
Yeah, but he's totally into the gear. He works at Guitar Center now.
Nice.
And he's picking up, little modular stuff and things. And we used to talk a lot about it. And yeah, so it's really cool to see like other generations, maybe 1-2 generations back, like pretty interested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And
no, there's this whole like resurgence, like, especially going like the synth groups on Reddit and stuff. Like,
where would you do you have a insight on kind of where this resurgence is probably the most popular, like country or?
It seems to be everywhere. I'll see people in like Montana doing it. Yeah, it's because you can just order everything now.
Yeah.
So,
man, I'd love to see more. I would definitely like to see it worked into the main stage pieces more.
Yeah.
We need you at like Crossed or something.
Where your votes in, guys?
Just throw this guy up there, man. Whatever. 30 minutes, dude.
Yeah.
Play with a DJ, right? Whatever, man. I keep thinking sooner or later they're gonna run out of like attention span for people with, USB sticks. Like as a DJ, like essentially that's the only way I perform, is as a DJ.
Yeah.
Right? And I just keep thinking like at some point like, attention span will need something more. But I guess that's why they do all the stage lights and all the stage pyro
Sure.
and all that shit, right? Because there really isn't a whole lot to watch, right?
Yeah, that's how it used to be. Like, the DJ used to just be in the back of the club. Nobody saw him.
Yeah.
It was about the party.
Yeah. I wonder who the first person is that started jumping up on the mixer.
Oh.
Like Skrillex or maybe
No,
probably before
I'm sure
him.
it was before that. I'm sure it was before
DJ
that.
AM or Rip.
Yeah, Steve Aoki or something.
Aoki or somebody.
I think it's one of the worst offenders of that. But
Yeah, I always think it's great because it's like, wait a minute, how do you do that? Like, what's going on? And then I remind myself, oh yeah, you actually don't have to do that much mixing.
Yeah, right.
You actually can walk away for like a whole minute.
Especially if you're
And you're
playing
good.
like trance or something. Like,
Yeah.
you got a good 6 minutes to do whatever you want to do.
Or like any genre, like if you're playing essentially the same BPM, a lot of the same key type stuff of any genre, right? Like you could definitely get away with that,
Yeah.
especially if you sync it.
Yeah.
Let it roll.
Yeah.
There's really no worries. You can walk away get a coffee, do some pyro stuff, do that. But your history in San Diego, man. So you got the roots, man. So what's including your stuff as well, if you want. But what's some of the history from your perspective of San Diego's electronic music evolution?
I mean, I started going in probably like 97, 96, 97, something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of funny story. One of the parties I remember from back then was Mind Fruit, which was at the Old World Beat Center on, I think it was on Kettner.
That's the same Mind Fruit as John, right?
Yeah. So when I played at Love and Bass, which was at the same venue Bloom was at, I'm like going and setting stuff up, and I'm walking back to my car to go grab another load of stuff, and this guy stops me. He's like, "Hey, you can't be in this hallway." And I'm like, "No, this is cool. I'm performing." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm John." I'm like, "I'm Austin." I was like, "Oh, you're Mind Fruit." By the way, I moved to Mind Fruit in 1998. That was like probably like the third party I ever went to. And,
wow.
Yeah.
I totally missed the ball on that when I was talking about the promoters on the party. Because I didn't realize he had taken a break. I wasn't here in the earlier time, right? So he took a break and came back.
Yeah, he was in like Italy for a while, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's just a pretty funny story, you know.
Yeah.
I think like even like Marky Quark might have been playing that party.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was as usual. I scrounged through people's online assets, and I saw a fair chunk of desert-ish photos.
Mm-hmm.
How far back? I mean, is that back early Moon Tribe? How far back does that go? Like,
that goes about 2008.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, I kind of I never really like stopped doing music, but I kind of like just did other stuff for a while. Like I was in like the finance industry for a minute.
All right. Did you have the same haircut?
No. you wouldn't even recognize me from that. People see
I scrolled back. I saw some short hair pictures too.
Yeah, no. People see my driver's license. They're like, "Who is that?"
I was like, "Dude, he looks like Matthew McConaughey."
All right.
There's a photo back there. Like I was just funny. Like you're DJing, and I was like, "Bro, it's like Matthew McConaughey, cut off shirt and everything." Yeah.
So about 2008, you know, I kind of like got back into it. One of my friends brought me to Moon Tribe, the 15-year anniversary.
Right.
that was my first one of those.
Oh wow!
And they set up the turbo sound in 5.1 surround sound. So there were two subs, on each side in the front there were two subs, two tops. In the back there was like three subs, three tops, and three stacks of those. And they would like, you stand in the middle of this thing, and it would like isolate frequencies and run it all around in like 5.1. You know, they would take like sounds that would come like from the back to the front, and I was just like, okay.
Where else would you see something like that?
I don't even know.
I don't think I've ever heard of anyone doing that in a traditional nightclub.
Yeah, I've heard of like four. I mean, there's like four corner systems, but I think they just kind of run it stereo.
Stereo just around though, and make sure it's not all phased on each other and stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
And then you're in the middle of nowhere, so there's nothing for the sound to bounce off of. You don't have to worry about reflections and stuff like that. Right. So you're just getting like this, you know, super clear, clean sound. And
are they generally, or is Moon Tribe? Are they generally pretty innovative with like? It sounds like it. Yeah. With that, you know.
Yeah.
Do they keep doing that?
No, they're never.
That was like a one-time thing.
They're like
that cost a lot of money and pain in the ass.
It wasn't that. People weren't dancing. They would just go in the middle and just stand there. And so that they want people,
it's kind of trippy. Yeah. I haven't made it out to one of those, man. I've had several times where it's been offered, but it just didn't work out timing wise.
Yeah.
How would you describe a Moon Tribe event? Kind of like if you had to describe Burning Man to someone who's never been, how would you just, you know, like what would be?
It's a lot more stripped back.
Yeah.
It's just especially the one-offs. You know, you just go dance, go home. Like there's no like stage really. It's just you know.
Speakers at ground level.
Yep.
Kind of deal.
Speakers, DJ at ground level. That's it.
Yeah. But I've heard there's been some big ones too. Not that it has to be big to be good, but they're awesome. But they haul some big sound systems out to wherever they go.
Yeah.
Don't they? Yeah. So you kind of want some people if you're going to haul a big sound system out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's some of the speaking of whatever, let's call them festivals being the bigger parties. What are some of the fun ones you've over the years? Like, what's some of the stuff that stood out to you in San Diego?
In San Diego,
or SoCal, like just.
Think about that for a second.
You're a rare native opportunity here, man.
I mean, it's not SoCal, but Bounce Festival up in it's kind of like by Belden, probably about 7 or 8 hours away from here. The guy who does it, he's still pretty active. He does a lot of stuff. Steve Emmerich does like stuff out of like Tahoe and Reno and whatnot. But that was a really good one. That's actually back when I was like doing more kind of dubstep and then a little bit of like footwork, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I play with my friend Chris, who I used to throw shows with, and we got to play on like the same stage as like Beats Antique.
Oh wow,
like that, so,
that's fun.
Yeah.
Are those footwork chapters on your SoundCloud?
They are. Yeah.
You gotta check that out.
Yeah, I got a mix on Do Androids Dance. That's
nice.
Yeah, it's still on my SoundCloud.
Was that Gus out of your break that got you to do footwork?
No. You heard the story. You heard the story about that.
No, man, tell me. Man.
So
Gus is a trip, dude.
This is kind of before I knew Gus. I mean, I had met him before.
Yeah.
And this is Utopia. I want to say maybe like 2012, maybe 2000. No, yeah, it's probably 2012.
All right.
And I'm walking up the hill, and I hear this track, and I'm like, this sounds really familiar. Wait. No, this is my track. Wait. This isn't released. Who is playing this? So I like run down the hill. I'm trying to figure out like who it is, and I didn't figure it out. And I was like, okay, well. And I ran into Gus the next day. I'm like, did you play a song called Back the Fuck Up? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I did. If I knew you were gonna play that, I would have just given you like the mastered version. And he's like, okay, cool. And then like that was that. And then
where did he get it from? You like rip it off SoundCloud or something?
No,
oh,
it wasn't his fault. So
cheater.
So get home. A couple days later, I sent it over to him, and he's like, oh shit, I didn't realize that was your track. So he was like over at another person's house. He loaded him up with a bunch of music. This person like played on Bass Drive, drum and bass radio show.
Yeah.
So he loaded him up with a bunch of music, and Gus just happened to like find that and play it.
Huh.
Yeah.
So he's inadvertently got it.
Exactly.
That's probably how most of my music has made it around the world.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's funny, man. Like at Burning Man this year, like I heard a couple of different tunes, and I would just walk up and look at the CDJ, and it's like some other name _ track 2.
But it's one of your tracks?
Yeah. Like straight up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it is what it is. It's
Totally.
I was watching, I watched a lot of documentaries. You documentaries at all?
A little bit.
There's this one, The American Meme. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much chronicles like 6 people who either started the whole social media meme kind of thing and getting paid for it, all that, including Paris Hilton as the kind of the first and things like that. But one of the dudes in there is really funny. Like he's like pretty chill about all of it. He's probably the most chill about the bullshit of all of it, and making good money too. And he's like talking about intellectual property and just the way people. And it's the first time I heard somebody kind of mention it like he did, which he said was generationally. He's like, what happened is he's like, everybody his age like gave a shit about IP, copyright, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, and basically at this point, and this thing's like from 2016, I guess, the documentary, 17. He's like, basically at this point, like kids have just grown up and they don't even know, like they haven't grown up around anybody that has any regard whatsoever for IP. So whether it's an image or a sound or whatever, it's not like they don't even think that they're stealing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to them, it's like,
yeah, they
if you
just
sit
know.
there and try to talk to them about it, they're like, what? They don't even, it doesn't even cross their mind. He's like, that's how distant that issue is now from and continues to get more distant. And it makes sense. I didn't really think about it, but it's probably helped out a lot of people. Probably hurt some people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Any opinions on music sharing and all that?
I mean, it like kind of like this stage I'm at. I'd rather just have people hear it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be upset if somebody,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't get
cool,
upset
you
about it.
share it, you like it, awesome. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't really make a lot of money off releases anyway. So
Not anymore.
Yeah. It's about, you know, doing gigs. So.
Yeah, if you're gonna make any money, it's gonna be off a show or some merch if you're at that level or whatever.
So you know, I'd rather have the exposure than not.
Yeah. And interestingly, like the streaming thing, although it pays very little, like you know, like if you manage to get like 1 million streams or something on Spotify, it's like $5,000, $6,000.
Yeah.
You know, you get so it's like, you know, if you just go do some math on some people that aren't like celebrities out there, like there's some people pulling down, you know, $30,000 or something.
Yeah.
You know, and for a year that are, let's call, relatively obscure.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, I'm not pulling down 30 million, you know, Spotify streams yet, but I get some money off of it, you know. So it's like, ironically, I think part of what's happened is like, it's one of the reasons I just a few years ago started like, I would make everything that's been released for like more than 3 months. I would just make it free, basically.
Oh, that's cool.
Because like the residual is not much in terms of digital download buys, but it's far more significant streaming through a Spotify type service that pays to have people go listen there. Like maybe they heard your shit for free or heard it from someone else for free because, like you said, it got more. It's just more out there, and then they know who you are, and then they may go. Maybe they're not a person that downloads any music.
Yeah.
Right. So then if they go to Spotify and they're in that group that's streaming and sharing that, you know, then it kind of is like. But when the whole thing first broke in terms of like digital piracy, there was no alternate way to get paid, so it was terrible.
Right.
You know, it was like this line in the sand between like you were getting paid and now you're not.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is,
which was brutal. That was a brutal shift right there. Yeah.
There's the thing too, that like anybody that's DJing your stuff should be paying for it anyway, because they should be getting a wave or a FF, you know, a lossless file. Yeah. Like hopefully they're not going to just rip a Spotify stream and play that in a club, because that would sound like garbage.
Although, they would really upset Joe P.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe P would be really angry at them. Dude, I don't know if you saw that post he made. He makes some great ones, but did you see the recent one about where he was obviously just completely bullshitting about MP3s ripping, or what was it like?
I think it was like I'm gonna convert all my like samples
to save space,
MP3, and then like make tracks out of those.
To save hard drive space. Yeah. He's like, I'm running out of hard drive space. I'm gonna convert all my waves to MP3s and delete them. And like there were actually a few people that took it serious, and there was some good snarky stuff. Obviously, people that knew him that were playing along with the Onion, but yeah, dude, that guy's got some funny shit every now and then. Man. He makes some really stellar posts. What do you know? Do they do any like along that house music lines? You ever heard? I said his name. Who was it? The Sunshine dude, Sunshine Jones.
Oh, Sunshine Jones, yeah.
Yeah, are you like down with his stuff at all, or?
Yeah, I've seen him a couple times. Yeah, I definitely appreciate what he does.
Yeah, everything I've heard is really housey.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah,
given house his origins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest house person. I can get into it.
Yeah.
Just not my thing per se.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's kind of all over the place. And he kind of like preaches when he plays too.
He does. You see that movie? You watch the documentary?
No.
It's short. It's like 20 minutes or something. You or anyone else who watching or listens later, like go check out Sunshine Jones and his. He's got like 2 or 3. They were on Vimeo. Like you can't find them anywhere else.
Okay.
They're kind of on there, and originally it looks like they were fundraisers for something, maybe an album project or whatever. But yeah, they're trippy like that. There's some preaching going on.
Yeah,
it's different.
Well, he was part of Dub Tribe.
Yeah, Dub Tribe Sound System.
Yeah, I remember that from back when I first started going out.
So. They were out of Bay Area, right?
Yeah,
originally.
Yeah.
Like them and kind of Hardkiss Brothers were at that time. Huh?
Yeah, Scott and Gavin and
yeah. That's interesting. Have you ever played up there?
In Bay Area?
Yeah, just any made the hike up there or had the opportunity?
I played a couple like festivals up around that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're pretty fanatical about dance music.
Yeah.
It's like this weird, to me it's like this, like we have Burning Man culture down here and then like nightclub culture, but to me they're pretty separate here in San Diego, I think. But up there, man, it's like, it's hard to separate them. I think it's just so much of both. It's like,
from what I've heard too, when during Burning Man week, like half the city's like cleared out.
So you can park.
It's a big thing there. Yeah,
my friends that aren't into music that live up there are like, it's sweet.
Like just stay in the desert.
Like, I didn't like this Burning Man thing until I realized I got a week of vacation at home every week. That's funny, man. All right, let me. I got another interesting picture here. Check this one out, dude. What is going on in this one? I pulled this off your Facebook, man. It's like a CD something.
I have no
CDJ
idea.
400 or something with a piece of vinyl on it.
I don't even know what that is.
Do you remember it?
No.
It was like a joke on your Facebook page.
Must have
so
been.
maybe you didn't come up with the picture. I'm pretty sure it just doesn't work. I'm pretty sure it's mocked
Yeah, I
up.
don't think it works that way.
Yeah, I don't think it works that way. All right, but we'll come back to a little music, but let me hit this fire spinning thing. What's the deal with this? I didn't know. This is something I did not know about you right here.
I don't really do that. That was
This is the one time you burned yourself?
No, that was down at the Black's Beach full moon event. Well, not an event, but full moon gathering, if you will.
Is it a music thing or no?
No,
just,
people just go down with like drums and stuff, and guitars, but there's no like sound system.
All right.
And I'd kind of been messing around with the staff earlier, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna try lighting up, see what happens. So
yeah.
That was the first time I lit
First
up.
and only.
No, I did it a couple times, but
Yeah.
kind of, there's I only have so much like time to be creative.
Yeah, you
and
think?
so like video games are out, this is out. Like I just want to focus on music. So
yeah, that's why you see the garage sale going on around here, man. I'm like 2019 for me is like I don't have any like exercise or diet type resolutions. Like I'm pretty square with those things usually. It's like focusing on like not getting distracted with more stuff.
Right.
That's kind of like what I'm into right now.
That's my goal. Actually, my goal for 2019 is to not buy any more gear. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, it becomes a real problem, dude.
Well, you have to learn it. You know? And then like
you have to learn it or feel bad about not spending the time with it, and then you're just kind of dumb because you spent money on this piece how there, collecting dust, waiting for eBay listing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about this one? What's going on here? I was digging back, man. Are you familiar with that one? Looks like a beach oriented.
No, it's not a beach. I think that might be a bramble.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. That's what it said.
Yeah, that was bramble.
What was that?
Bramble is kind of like, I don't know, hour 45 minutes out east, just past like the San Diego border.
Okay.
It was a group of friends. It was
out like Otay Mesa, that direction.
Yeah, further.
Okay.
It's a group of friends that it was just kind of an invite only sort of thing, and just go out to the desert, and it was really cool. It's on like BLM land.
Okay.
And no permits or anything, but the border patrol would come by like, you guys good? You guys want water or anything? We're like, no, we're good.
Pretty cool.
So.
Yeah, that's I kind of cut my teeth on the East Coast, and there's no desert there, so. I always like talking about a little bit of it on here if someone's on here that has some perspective on the desert party element of things. How do you think that style of desert parties kind of shaped, what's currently electronic dance music? Still a pretty big piece of it, or is it?
I think it's a facet of it.
Yeah.
You go to a club and everything is like kind of real fast, and people are ordering drinks, and like you're just having like these real quick interactions with people. But when you're in the desert, like you kind of like become a community while you're there, and you spend more time with people, and you get to know people better. And usually, like DJ sets are a little bit longer, like 2 hours.
Not 45 minutes.
No, 2 hours is about hour and a half to 2 hours is about the standard. So you have a little more ways to go, like, and you can make more of a journey out of it. And then
and they usually a couple days.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days sometimes. And then having the sound system outdoors, open space, so you can hear details a lot clearer.
Yeah.
So I definitely noticed my production changing a lot when I was going out to a lot of those.
And do you do a pretty different setup for that, or it's just more that you started tuning it better because of that?
Those ones I was just DJing for the most part. I actually did do my first outdoor live set maybe like 3 or 4 months ago at Ultraviolet Vortex. Yeah, Ultraviolet Vortex. Bass Mechanic was doing sound, and So I had like some nice like turbo sound monitors. I can really just like dial my stuff in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You familiar with the guys that throw Genius Loki? You ever been to that party?
I haven't been, but I kind of want to go. It looks cool.
You gotta hit those dudes up, man.
Yeah.
They could use a live. Yeah, I'm like thinking. I was just thinking of some people that are, kind of within gear distance. I'll call it. To be able to take proper.
Oh, I can totally take my stuff down there.
Yeah, and it not be too crazy beyond like what they're already paying for DJs and tickets and whatever for people that are at different levels.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any. I mean, they do have Henry himself, who's one of the two guys that's kind of the founders of it, and Eduardo. But Henry's like used to be in bands, play drums, stuff like that, other instruments. But he has a drummer play while he DJs, and that's pretty cool. And that's live-ish.
Yeah.
But no. I've been the last 2 years, and it's a great party, like maybe 1,500 people or something like that. But
that's a good size.
It's like the beach desert vibe, really
Yeah.
cool, and a couple different stages. But it seems like that would be a really cool fit, for something. I'll try. Remind me. I'll at least. I don't know if you know those guys, but I'll at least make an intro.
I don't. So that'd be cool.
And it'd be awesome to at least get you in front of them.
Totally.
Consideration, right?
When did they do that? Like in March or something?
It's June 3rd weekish.
Oh, okay. That's a ways out.
It's a ways out.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of time. Yeah, they haven't even. They started like if you're on their email list from prior events, they started like the whatever early ticket type, download shit.
Yeah.
But the website's not even updated for the next year yet, or at least it wasn't like 2 weeks ago. So. But it's great. Yeah. Anyway, remind me. I'll because I was just trying to think of some spots that at least I could maybe make an intro that we may or may not know the same people that would be crowds that definitely would vibe out on what I was hearing at Bloom anyway, and obviously you can do different stuff too, but yeah, and they support live stuff because they are live musicians initially, and then they got into DJing. So
yeah,
I think in a promoter that or a talent whatever curator that always makes a difference. I think if they themselves are musicians, there's just a different level of at least interest in maybe trying to work something in, that kind of thing.
Sure,
pretty cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's promoters that like come at it from like, how many people are you going to pull?
Which is all understandable.
Sure.
But anyway, just that banner zoomed in the back of my mind while we were talking about stuff.
Let's talk about that. That'd be cool.
I guess this may not be non-musical. What's up with the piñata, man? You remember this one? Is this a
that's
picture?
probably Utopia.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
That's probably
That's
Utopia.
a big piñata, man.
Yeah. Utopia is kind of a
I was digging for some stuff other than music that you might be into, man. I got two more here, but I'm just gonna start busting questions.
Yeah.
Let's see what this one is. Oh wait, did I put that live? Yeah, I did. There's your glimpse of the major piñata. Go check it out. I was curious about this because I've never seen this or been to it. Is this old?
Somebody must have tagged me in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was some kind of thing that used to exist because none of the beaches anymore are allowed to have, like, certainly no alcohol.
Yeah, there's no alcohol.
That's done.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of looked like thought I might get a little historical input on that.
Yeah. I think they stopped in around like 2005 or something. There was things just kept getting like crazier and crazier in PB until it ended with somebody driving a police ATV into the beach.
Oh.
And like they're like, okay, this needs to stop. But it was bad. And like you go on the beach and it was just like frat bros and just keg stands and
someone got a head busted and maybe died, right? Eventually from a fight or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean you can Google the facts on that, but there was there were definitely some fights anyway because I know when I had visited sometimes it was just a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean it's it's not like that anymore. So.
Yeah. No, not at all. Yeah. It's all gone into the thriving bar restaurant business now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you live? Whereabouts?
I just moved to North Park.
Oh, were you in Obi? Where were you before?
I was in North Encanto, like up by Lemon Grove, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're like kind of more in the action now.
Way more in the action.
Yeah.
So.
Was that kind of the intent?
Yeah, kind of.
To get down in there.
Yeah. I could like walk outside and there's like, there's 12 things I could go do right now. It's kind of nice.
That's how I feel here. As long as I do it before like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
8 p.m. here is like it's a mistake.
No, I lived in PB through like my mid-20s, and I just got to a certain point. I'm like, I cannot hang out with
that's
this
funny.
crowd anymore.
What other? You said you had a stint in finance. So, I mean, we don't have to talk spreadsheets, but that's always interesting. Like I had a stint. Well, it kind of. Well, other things people did, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I talk about it, because I've mentioned before a number of things I've done over the years, and music has always been a part of it, and sometimes the main part. But I had a stint in the construction industry where I did like project management stuff. I had a stint in like software development work, which isn't all that uncommon for someone in music, these days to be part of. Yeah. But so yourself, like little finance, what else did you get into? If you're
internet marketing,
open to share,
internet marketing. That was like my first like real job, like
right.
Out of like retail and all that. Sorry, I don't mean to like say retail's not a real job, but you know what I'm saying.
No,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that was real eye opening. Like it's like, wow, business world is pretty shady.
Which, the finance or the marketing?
The marketing.
Oh,
the marketing.
yeah.
The finance is a little bit too. But I mean, I was working in like auto finance, so there's a lot of just numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But my day job now,
loan pushing.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
But my day job now.
Are you working with Brian now? Despot?
Yes.
Is that Mr.
Mr.
Speaker?
Speakers. Uh-huh.
Oh, sweet, dude.
So this is a prototype.
Oh, yeah, man.
See it in there.
Yeah,
but
this is your camera, but you can see it. Yeah.
Production model on these is actually black, but so I work with high-end headphones.
Oh, yeah. He was in here a month or so ago.
Yeah.
He didn't bring any headphones, though. Damn it.
Yeah.
There's a good price tag on them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But there's a reason for it. And then once you hear them, it's like it's really hard to unhear that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. Maybe I can get a listen before we get out of here once we're out. But because when Brian first mentioned it to me, it was like Mr. Speaker. So it's like the name you kind of don't really like right off. You kind of think like Beats, Mr. Speaker. You're kind of like, it doesn't sound audiophile-ish, I guess, right off. But it is what it is. They obviously make good stuff.
Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, I can use a lot of my production knowledge with my job now.
Yeah.
Great, just kind of like listening for frequencies, listening for little inconsistencies and whatnot.
Yeah, two things out there. That's awesome. Two things at the right price. Two things I was going to kind of comment on the job thing is because, like, I've always felt like being involved in multiple things, particularly in terms of how you earn your money, is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And so I mention it on here because as especially younger generations, listen to things and have dreams in music and all this kind of stuff. It's just cool to remember to have some other skills.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. Yeah. Because no matter how good you are, there'll be some shitty times.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not even about how good you are.
Well, probably, I don't know if it's always been that way, but I would say probably more now than ever, it's not about as good as you are, how good you are. I'm sure there's always been bias through marketing and imagery and the sell and the spin. Mm-hmm. Like that's always been there. Is that part of what you learned in your marketing world?
No, that was a little more like internet marketing, like selling like cost per click campaigns and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
riveting.
Yeah,
I know. Dude, I was buried for about a year. I was buried in like Google AdWords world.
Yeah. Scripting
and just I was working with people that like basically I was doing like project work, on some things. And it was basically like working with programmers that were essentially being paid to figure out how to game it all. Through analytics. Like it's not like against the law, but it's definitely gaming like the average ad buyer or the average like search engine optimization person, getting into bots and all this stuff to like, just essentially outpace what any human could do. Mm-hmm. So same logic perhaps, but like embodying it in algorithms and bots and things, and is really nasty when you start seeing how that works.
It's a real weird world.
Yeah, when you start seeing how all that works, and that's why it made me laugh when you said finance, because I had some friends that were more in like trading type finance for a while, and it was very similar in there. And it never occurred to me that they would apply the same kind of sort of deep, dark evil to like the ad business.
Yeah.
But they do.
They do.
Totally. And and the world's becoming more and more aware of it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, for both you and I, we got into music when there was zero social media.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was I was learning about stuff from like magazines.
Yeah.
I
my mom's here visiting, and I was talking to her about it, and she was, going back even to her time, and it was like, and so question to you is like, do you feel like you can now, or do you feel like you can no longer escape to a degree being judged in a different way than prior to Internet 2.0 or whatever, right?
Yeah, you used to be able to just kind of like fly under the radar, not anymore.
Yeah, like you particularly performing live, and you were talking about like making some mistakes, right? Like you can't escape that forever.
Right. I mean, granted, I haven't done anything real bad, but, just little things here and there. But.
So be lenient, people.
Yeah.
Don't be so damn hard on everybody. That's what's up. Well, I was gonna get some ghost pepper hot wings, but I forgot to bring them.
Oh man, I would have been all over that.
Oh, you are, dude?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
love spicy. There's a plate at you ever go to Hamilton's in South Park?
No, but that's a great segue into the restaurant portion of the
the
episode.
All right,
so
let's do
just
that.
fire away, man.
So Hamilton's, they have a plate called the Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
And it's 6 wings.
A plate called that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's 6 regular wings 5 regular hot wings, and then one of them rubbed in ghost pepper sauce.
Oh, by the way, idea Gus was commenting when you were talking about it before. I was ignoring the social media stuff at the time. Anyway, sorry. Back to the farmer plate or the
Deer Hunter.
Deer Hunter.
Yeah, so it's 5 regular hot wings and then 1 rubbed in ghost pepper sauce. So it's like Russian roulette.
Okay.
So the first time I got it, I was with a couple friends, and my friend found the hot one. And he was like on the bar, like crying. His glasses were fogged up. And he was just like dying. I'm like, okay, I'll try a little piece of that. I tried one. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's really bad. And then my other friend, I mean, he can handle some spicy stuff, so he just ate the whole thing. The guy comes to pick up the plate, and he's like, "Oh shit, you guys actually ate that?" It's like so hot, it's a joke.
Have you ever eaten the shishito peppers?
I love shishitos.
They're like that, like 1 in
Shishitos
10 or 1 in 20. No, but when you get the hot one, it's not crazy. It's not like a ghost pepper.
Yeah.
But it will surprise somebody if they don't know, and they're like chomping on them, and then they get that hot one. It'll put a kick in someone who doesn't like get down with the spice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Dirty Birds over here, they've got a. They got all sorts of claims about best wings in the world prizes, whatever. But they make some great wings, and
nice. I haven't been there.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know what your time constraints are, but if you need to go, if you're down to head over there for a beer and split a few ghost wings, I'll do that with you, man.
All right.
We'll give it a shot. We'll Instagram that, folks. The promise is real. What else? One of the things I like doing through this whole thing with people is, shedding a bit of different light outside of music on San Diego. It's such an awesome place, and you've been here, your whole life. Too.
Yeah.
What? Maybe like some other things in the food arena, and then maybe some things that are like just tourist stuff that's pretty cool for, people coming in.
Yeah. One of the main. Tourist spots in San Diego is Balboa Park, which is beautiful. Like, I still like going there, bringing my dogs there, and I'll take them to the dog park, then walk them around, and it's just a really nice place. The beaches, of course.
Yeah.
Sunset Cliffs.
Nobody comes here for the beaches.
No.
But Sunset Cliffs, I think, gets missed a good bit because it's not like you're going to stumble into that. Probably just off the 5 or whatever.
Right.
That's definitely one to hit.
Yeah. There's a couple of beaches like along that path that are sort of more like neighborhood beaches that I like going to.
Yeah. I've been to a couple little parties down there.
Yeah.
Renegades. Down in the little quarries down there. Yeah. They're fun. People leave you alone. The cops are pretty cool in San Diego with that kind of stuff. They're not too bad.
Yeah, they're kind of like, all right, guys, like, come on.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I haven't seen them lock anybody up.
No, they're not
belligerent.
They're not.
It's kind of not worth their time.
Right.
And it makes it bad for tourism probably as well to go all crazy on something small like that.
But yeah,
food-wise, parks, beaches, that's big. That's our big thing here. Our weather, except for today.
It wasn't too bad today.
It's just cold, man.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that's complaining at the beach. It's cold. Somehow I got that New Year's, bug or whatever, so not too bad. But anyway, I started to feel it, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, like just moving to North Park and just like there's just so many good like food options around there.
Why'd you pick that neighborhood?
Ended up like staying with a friend for a couple weeks out there, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like I never lived there. I lived in PB for quite a while. I lived in Claremont for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then kind of where I was like out east, and I just kind of wanted to change the pace.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if I moved out of PB, I wouldn't move back.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's right, like I'm probably that way with any neighborhood.
Go
find a new haunt. Go find a new haunt, dude.
But it's cool, like having like not lived here for a while and just seeing the changes, like new places.
A lot of new restaurants.
Yeah, lots of new restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like a country bar.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
that's
like
weird.
Moonshine Beach.
That's weird.
Yeah, they have like legit country concerts. Place gets packed, dude. I went to one once just out of curiosity. I was like, no way, country bar.
What did that place used to be called? I forget what it used to be called.
Well, it was like Ralph's or something. Was I think the whole place? It was like a Mexican restaurant up front.
Oh,
and
Fred's.
a nightclub. Fred's. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, and a nightclub in back.
Typhoon Saloon.
That was one. That's gone now. That's been redone.
So Typhoon Saloon used to have.
I think that's where Mavericks is now. The big white place.
No. Mavericks is on. That's like used to be PB Bar and Grill.
All right.
But
right.
Typhoon Saloon used to have a metal school, which was Steel Panther now, but they were playing like all like 80s metal covers.
I think I saw them once at like 710. They're like a metal cover band, right?
Yeah, I mean they're good. Oh no, I think they got too big for 710, but they're good. But it's just so ridiculous, and like had some fun nights at their thing because they would just call people out in the crowd and just make fun of people.
Are you still pretty into the metal side? I mean,
yeah, I am.
You spend some time in that, like going to shows and.
Yeah, I mean that was different. That's more just kind of a fun thing, but like, I've been going to some like serious metal shows lately. I saw Mayhem last November or something like that.
Okay.
Mayhem, if you don't know, like that's like old school black metal, like church burnings and
black metal. I was listening to a podcast the other day. They were talking about it was like a Freakonomics or something episode. They were interviewing or maybe Malcolm Gladwell or somebody. They were talking to this dude about death metal and black metal, particularly black metal. They spent a lot of time talking about that. I had never heard that term before.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Back in like the early 90s, there was just all kinds of crazy stuff going on with that.
Yeah. Are you friends with Brian Millar?
Oh yeah.
That doesn't surprise me at all, dude.
Yeah, I mean we have like some differences. Like I listen to a little more metal, and he listens to a little more hardcore. But like we kind of like find some common ground a lot of the times.
He's a trip, man.
Yeah.
I love him, dude. First time he sent me, I asked him to send me like a demo or something. We're gonna put it on a label, and he sends it to me, and it's like comes from deathmetalbrian@gmail.com.
That was his DJ name.
And I was like, dude. And then he sends me I'm like, dude, send me your logo, and it's like this big ball of fire with like an omega, and I was like, man, maybe we need to rework that logo, bro.
Coming in hot.
I was like, just so the artist that does all my like this Japan kind of stuff, their Asian influence kind of stuff, he redid a logo for him, and he used it for a couple years, and then he switched to his current one. But yeah, it was definitely a good move in the right direction. I felt like to just clean it up a little bit.
Yeah,
because the line between like death metal Brian, like the actual rocker, and DJing was not clear.
Yeah,
it was kind of like that's pretty easy for somebody to confuse.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Oh, that's good, dude. Might have to make a clip on that one.
Yeah, and I used to play in like metal and hardcore bands like in high school.
All right.
But it's one of the reasons I started doing electronic music is just getting people together and like little band squabbles here and there and stuff like that. I was like, I'll just do that shit on my own.
Does it help you much? I mean, do you feel like it? Obviously, it helps you knowing music, but
yeah. I mean, my theory isn't like great or anything, but it's definitely like helped me a lot.
Yeah, mine's okay.
Yeah.
The early days of piano like stick with you,
Yeah.
Fortunately, they stick with you longer than you think, but yeah, that's pretty cool. But we didn't finish the food section.
Oh yeah.
What other? What's your favorite taco spot?
I've been really liking. Oh man, I got a few. City Tacos in North Park.
I don't know why
Really
it's always
good.
hard to pry it out of people in here, man. When they're from San Diego, not you. You got a list of them.
Yeah.
So do I. So City Tacos, your first one?
Lately, yeah, just because I mean it's walking distance from my place, and
Yeah.
it's really good, and it's like, pretty cheap too. But
Yeah. I'll throw one in. Taco Surf's always good.
Taco Surf,
Yeah,
yeah.
they've been there forever, man.
Oscars,
Good crispy taco. Taco Surf.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so big into their soft ones, but you can't always find a crispy taco, dude.
Yeah,
They got a
yeah,
good
it's
one.
mostly soft.
So does Ramiro's.
Okay,
right
I don't
across
think I've
there.
been there.
Yeah, those two both have good ones.
Have you been to Oscars right up here?
Yeah, and they but a couple years back they put one here,
Yeah,
like across the street.
yeah. Oscars is really good.
Oh, that's awesome. They've been around a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they were in like North PB for a while. I
Yeah.
don't know if that one's still there,
Yeah.
but Lucha Libre is probably the best salsa bar I've ever
dude.
been to.
They have my favorite taco in the world.
Which one?
The lettuce one.
Yeah,
I forget what
Flaco
they call
taco.
it, the Flaco taco.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Until you've had. I mean, I love crispy tacos too, but until you've had like a legit taco in a lettuce shell.
Yeah.
you haven't lived tacos, man. Like the first time I had that was the next level. I don't get out that often to Blonde, but that's usually half the reason I do go over there. Probably many people.
Just go there early, get some tacos, and
to hit that early, man. Speaking of Blonde, are you into? Well, we talked a little bit about techno, but because I guess Tees for Techno kind of started there and then moved over to where are they at now? The bigger downtown spot.
Omnia.
The other one. They're at the other one.
Are there another one now?
Yeah, it's shit. I can't remember what the name it was. Anyway, whatever. But any techno interest?
Yeah.
You do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you make any, or is
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Do you do that live at all as well?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I have a funny story about that too.
Oh, please.
So when I kind of started doing this stuff, it was techno. Like it was Tyler from Acid Varsity. It was like, just come start playing live. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready. He's like, just come do it. I'm like,
just come
all right.
do it.
All right.
Nobody's ever
What's the
ready.
worst could happen? Like, okay, cool. So I kind of this thing kind of started out techno. I mean, I've been listening to techno. I think techno was probably like the first like mature electronic music, aside from like IDM.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Mature.
Yeah.
Electronic music.
Yeah, I mean, I was really into like Detroit techno for a long time. Jeff Mills, Claude Young, stuff like that. Even went to Detroit for Movement in 2005. Yeah, that was awesome. Who did I?
That's one I got to hit. That's one on my
it's
list for sure. I haven't
it's
been.
really fun. I haven't been in a long time. But
I love it. I got reintroduced to it, I guess, probably through Native Alien Contact.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't know where. I didn't think about it a lot. I didn't know where to go to, listen to it. So I went there a couple years ago. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Kind of reintroduced me to it. So then that's why I mentioned the T is for Techno.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So T is for Techno. So this one night, and I think I just played a live set at Day Party that same weekend.
All right.
So yeah, I played the live set on Sunday. All my stuff is still broken down, and Tom hits me up on Tuesday, like midday. He's like, "Hey, our headliner dropped out. Can you play a live set?" And I'm like yeah.
Alien Tom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, so my live set's electro, and he's like, and I'm like, ooh, you know what I could do is I could just wipe all my kick patterns, turn it into 4 on the
all
floor.
4 on the floor.
Yep. So that's what I did, and I was like, I'm like, I don't know what this is gonna sound like. So
That's pretty funny, man. I was about to say, like, basically, I mean, at least what I heard, at Bloom, the most current that I had heard from you, you could put 4 on the floor under that. And
yeah.
maybe reduce some of the, the sub bass patterns or something.
Yeah, yeah. So I was doing stuff like that. So I mean, I just went in there, set up, and then prior to soundcheck, I'm just sitting there on my Octatrack, just
yeah,
erasing and putting things in, and yeah. So that ended up being really fun.
That's hilarious. Awesome.
Yeah.
What you said you have? Well, I was glad your dogs didn't have any problem. What kind of dogs you have, man?
Huskies.
Huskies.
Yeah.
I got Bostons. Yeah, they're now split from a past relationship, kind of like kids. Well, one of them actually passed away, but
sorry to hear that.
bummer. But back in October, but there were two. But I've got the one I'm babysitting for 2 weeks. So yeah, I was hoping there wasn't anything wrong with your dogs.
Yeah,
you told me because I'm all like, you know.
Yeah, they were just like coughing for a minute, and I'm still gonna take them in, but it's not like a emergency situation right now. So
yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else you want to do on? We got your setup, man. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to sell you short. You just want to jam out for a while. I don't know, man. Or anything else you want to talk about before or tell people?
Yep.
You know, bring up.
So this thing down here, I don't know if you can.
Let me switch over.
Yeah, switch over.
We'll go back to the music bit, and then we'll go get us some ghost wings, dude.
Sweet.
There you go. I switched back there.
Okay, so this guy right here, this is a modular synth from 1976. Came as a DIY kit, so it just came as a bunch of components, and somebody painstakingly put the whole thing together. I happened to find it on Craigslist and got it for pretty much dirt cheap.
Score.
Yeah, but it wasn't working. When I got it, the power cord had like 2 frayed ends that were like tied to prongs. I'm like, you can't even plug this thing in without shocking yourself. Like, so it's so yeah, I put a new power cord on it, and then from then it's just been this constant thing of troubleshooting, and you know, I've had to rewire a bunch of stuff, and it's not totally there yet, but it's getting there, and I actually have used it in a track. Yeah, I used it in this remix I did for Carl Finlow, old school electro guy. But so I used it for this little part, and then gave it to Brandon Vasquez. Brandon plays it at Moon Tribe 3 weeks ago or something like that, and sent me a video of it. So I sent the guy who sold it to me the video. I'm like, check it out, and
That's cool.
he was just like, holy shit!
Is he pretty stoked?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's a musician and everything, but he does more, plays like guitar. And
I'm going to see if I can get a little bit better camera angle on it out here. I think I can, because, yeah, I can drop this guy, just bring it way over here, and then get us a little better, kind of without getting in your way.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there we go. It's less of you, but it's definitely got the gear.
Okay, so this is it.
Yeah, dude.
Kind of has a mind of its own at this point. Real spring reverb in it.
Okay.
Like a real spring tank.
Wow. Sounds like a monster.
I didn't do it.
Hands off, folks. Hands off. You have a 4-on-4 beat pattern so we can play some techno for people?
I can do that real fast.
Yeah, dude. Improv techno. There we go. We just turned electro into techno, kids. Mad scientist at work. Don't let the single mono speaker fool you. Snares on fire, dude. Rollout. The build up.
One with Pac-Man right there.
Dude, that was absolutely epic, man. So epic, man. Yeah, I don't care.
I don't know what I'm doing with this
I'm
thing yet.
infatuated by it either way. Just, I guess all my years of screwing with devices and some success and some failure.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just awesome to see.
This thing's
other
a trip,
people
though. I'm
excited.
sure it's just like putting my hand on a raw cable and it's like making a sound.
Totally,
It's just
man.
like,
Totally.
yeah, it's a trip.
Yeah, when you realize for the first time that if you're messing with analog gear and you realize that, anything electric can affect it, it's really like the light comes on.
It was picking up a radio station at my old house.
Nice,
It's
dude.
not supposed to do that.
Yeah, not supposed to happen, man.
Yeah.
Not supposed to happen.
But actually, at my new place, it wasn't doing that. So it's like, it's bad shielding or something.
That's,
but yeah.
that's incredible, dude. Well, one more time, real quick, where can people find your stuff again? You said earlier, but reel them off.
SoundCloud.com/AustinSpeed, Facebook.com/AustinSpeedMusic, Instagram.com/AustinSpeedInsta, because someone took Austin Speed already.
Freaks.
Yeah.
Give it up to the music guy person.
Yeah. And then Twitter, Austin Speed.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share before we wrap it up and go try to eat some ghost wings?
Actually, YouTube channel as well.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, I got some
good video.
I got some live recordings on there. So if you guys want to see, just like 5-minute clips and stuff. But yeah.
All right. Awesome, man. What's the YouTube channel?
I believe it's just Austin Speed. But if you look up
Google it, Austin Speed
Austin
live
Speed
video
YouTube
or something.
something like that. Yeah.
Is there a particular show that you would want them to like that there's a clip up there of or something that was?
Yeah, I can give you a link.
Oh yeah, I'll put them in the article. Awesome. Yeah. Well, sweet. We had a bunch of people tuned in and out through the whole thing today. It was great, man. And I know they caught a lot of the live stuff. And man, you know how stoked I was to get you in here, dude. Just hang out for a bit. I'm stoked to go eat ghost wings.
Yeah.
I'm stoked to kick off the year of the shows with you. It's awesome, dude. I was excited when I saw you at Kava. I'm just as excited, man.
Awesome.
So I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for everyone that tuned in. Check it out now or later. And to any of the shows, really appreciate it. Check them all out in the past. Variety ShYo with a YO.com. The archive's there. And soon I'm going to put up like a group of the San Diego ones, because there's about 20 now from San Diego.
Nice.
Out of the 70-something shows. So that kind of thing. And just awesome, man. Stoked you're a part of it, brother.
Thank you so
It's
much
awesome,
for having
man.
me.
You bet, dude.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, man. Thanks, everybody. We're going to wind this thing out to the no audio portion exit, and we're going to go eat. Later.
Yeah.